Hi all. Right, I just noticed on my YouTube main page isn't showing the fact that we've got a live stream running. I just need to look into that. Give me a second. Just got to find out why it's done that, because that's a bit odd. It should be showing as a live stream running. Okay, it's showing there. Showing in the events, it's just not showing on the main page. It's weird. Hold on, let's see if it's caught up now. Oh no, now it's showing, of course. Right, here we go. Just a little bit slow. David, you're watching me on YouTube. Excellent. And sorry, David, we're not doing the spectrum analyzer today. One day. Okay. Let's see how the stream's looking. I've already dropped some frames. Oh, that's nervous. Okay. Maybe it's because I was browsing into it at the same time. So I do have something to work on today. And it's going to be interesting because I don't actually have a schematic diagram for it or oscilloscope. So it's going to be a challenge. Right, I'll quickly, this is what we've got on the bench. This thing here. So I've recorded that for a mailbag video already. Obviously you wouldn't have seen it yet because I haven't actually published it till, well, I don't publish it till tomorrow. So you wouldn't have seen it. And yeah, it's going to be interesting because it partially works, but I don't have any diagrams. The closest I've got is a diagram for a similar unit. I don't know how similar they really are. So we'll see how we go with that. We'll see. It's going to be kind of a rudimentary look around, I think, and just see if we can see anything obviously wrong, do some testing, that kind of thing. I really need to kind of like look into the camera here, right? So you guys got to see me, right? That's probably a bit freaky though. I need to sort of look in there more, so instead of looking around here. So I hope the sound's alright. I've had a bit of a play around with it this morning, but this microphone does tend to clip. What I've tried to do is set it up in a position so that you can hear me just as well over there at the bench as it can when I'm sitting at the desk. Any reefer caps? Potentially. It's the right age. I don't know. I haven't even opened it up yet. I've not even opened it. Hope it's not too hard to open. You see I've got on your shirt, your colour one, green. I actually did a little test on those reefer caps I pulled out of that switching unit. And that little high voltage tester project I did, that little Arduino powered high voltage tester, I chucked it on that, or chucked them on that, and it didn't leak. I was quite surprised. And I went up to 420 volts with it, and it didn't fail. I was not expecting that to happen. I expected it to blow, or at least start passing some kind of current. So yeah, I don't know how long this is going to go for. I don't know how hard it's going to be. It might be dead easy, there might be a wire off inside, who knows. But hi Chris, how's it going? So yeah, we'll see how we go with that. And for those that haven't seen it yet, here we go. We're going to work on that thing. Get some light on it. That mysterious box right there, which I've intentionally faced the wrong way, so you can't see what it is yet. Keep the mystery up. Yeah, so we'll do some repair stuff. We'll try and do some repair stuff. We'll give it a go. Hi Harold, how's it going? So yeah, we'll play with that. I didn't actually line anything else up. Hi Dave. Didn't didn't line anything else up to do, so it might just be this that takes the whole time. It might be able to tinker around with something else. Big old heatsink ham radio. No, it's not. It's not a ham radio. And yes, it is a massive heatsink. It really surprised me. When I purchased this thing, I was expecting it to be about half the size it actually is. So, I was not expecting it to be that big. I was expecting it to be like the same sort of size as my Sigma multimeter, for example, or my my Philips frequency counter. I've got up there, sort of that kind of size. That's what I was expecting, and it's twice the size of that. So, yeah, it was surprising. The pictures made it look smaller, but yeah. Anyway, that's fine. I have fixed MacBooks. I've done a couple of videos on them. I've got some more videos queued up waiting to go, which I'll publish in due course. Their GPU, not successfully yet. I've got one there, which is it's a 7-inch, 7-inch, 2011 of dead GPU. I've taken the GPU off, and I've got some new GPUs to put on. Well, they were sold as new, but they weren't new. They were pulls. So who knows what quality they are. If they even work, and I haven't done that yet, so I've got it sitting there in my hard pile. So I'm doing the easy stuff first and working through to the harder ones as I get along. So I don't do a lot of MacBook stuff. I just sort of did a bit of a spurge at it about 4 or 5 months ago. I decided to start doing some. So I fixed, I think, about eight MacBooks so far, something like that. Logic board repairs, all the liquid damage, or lots of stuff like that. So I think I've done about 8 so far, and I've got 5 left to fix, and 3 of those are pretty hard ones. CMI zapper. What's that doing? Is that messing with the BIOS or something? With the SPI ROM? I know there is a SPI ROM modification you can do to basically turns it off so it doesn't actually try and look at the graphics card, or the graphics chip. Let's have a look. Nice advertising. Small board. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll make me a quick look now. So you've got a, well, it looks like a, what is that? Trying to see what it is. Mounted over the ROM. So you're doing like a ROM replacement, aren't you? So €60. Interesting. I'll bear it in mind. It edits the ROM. So does that mean that you could just put it on, do the program, and take it off again because it's done the modification already because it's edited the ROM, or does it get updated again by the computer at some point? Out of interest. Oh yeah, okay. Let me just try and find you. I suppose you got the contact on there. Oh yeah, okay, you got contact on the site. I'll have a look. I should bookmark that now. If I get the thing to actually do it. Come on, bookmark it. You dumb bloody computer. Come on. Right. Let's do it this way. Okay. That looks interesting anyway. It's a nice concept. I did see someone else has done it. It's actually, like, I think it's reprogramming the SPI ROM. So I'm guessing that's kind of what you're doing anyway. Let me just try and sort this out. Hold on. So it looks interesting. Let's find this. We'll get onto this bloody project in a minute. It's always a bit of a slow start, isn't it? Okay, we'll chuck it up there so I don't forget. Okay. I'll have you put to one side, ready to look at it later on in more detail. Looks pretty cool. Right, back to this. I was going to screw up after I did a frame reset. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was wondering about that non-volatile RAM. Oh, right. Yep. Okay, cool. Very interesting. Thanks for pointing it out to us. Nice advertising. Nice and subtle too. But that's good. No, it's interesting because it's something of interest to me, so I certainly don't mind. And I'm sure it's of interest to a lot of other people out there too, because that is such a big issue on those machines. I suppose once you got that in there, you could actually remove the GPU, couldn't you? Because if a GPU is not in there, then it's any shorts it's got or anything like that, which can cause problems. I don't know, maybe. I suppose it'd power it down, wouldn't it? It'd turn the power off to the GPU, wouldn't it? So it might not matter anyway. I know that one, the GPU was just getting hot, where it had like an internal short. So, I was wondering if we could actually just take the GPU off completely. But yeah, well, I've got a couple of machines here with bad GPUs, but I've got one which I've actually taken the GPU off it, so that'd be a good one to try it on, I suppose. Okay, right, let's do something on the desk here. Right, so we've got this thing here to play with. Now, this is going to be interesting, certainly. It's definitely going to be a challenge. Maybe for my camera work more than anything. Not having a GPU will potentially mean if you've got like an external graphics plugged in, like if you've got using a display port, Thunderbolt port, whatever it is, with an external monitor, maybe then it will slow the computer down a bit because it's not got the power to drive that external monitor from the internal GPU of the CPU module. Integrated graphics, that's what I'm looking for. I think on a normal screen on a laptop it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, that's right, a 13 inch doesn't even have it. It's using integrated. It's only the 15 and the 17 inch which have it. And I've done it. I've actually done a software disable on a MacBook 13. MacBook 15 it was, 15 inch. So I've you had to go into Ubuntu and run a little bit of script on that, and then that was a couple of things just to do. I can't remember exactly what it was now, but you could go into Ubuntu and actually allow you to disable the GPU, which is probably doing a write to the ROM. I know it doesn't survive past the non-volatile RAM reset. I know it doesn't survive past that. Well, I don't believe it does anyway. So it's probably just doing a write to the SPI ROM. Most likely. So I know it's probably along the same lines. Or is it? It might have been a software mod actually. No, it modified the system. Sorry, I'll get it right. It modified the system. It actually made the system think there wasn't an external graphics chip there to use, so it just didn't try and use it. It didn't even list it. It just removed it. I've forgotten what it's called now. I had to pay for that. I think it's like $30 US or something. I think I had to pay for that. Yeah. Okay, right, well, let's look at this project over here. Didn't come to talk about MacBook stuff. Although, I don't mind talking about MacBook stuff, but not everybody else is interested in it. Okay. I've got this one here, and I've got this one here, and I've got a few more. I've got a partially done up logic board over here which I need to fix. So yeah. But anyway, let's look at this thing. Let's reveal what it is, shall we? Here's a clue. There's a side. Anyone knows these particular tilting barrel types might know what brand it is. Yeah. Then okay, here we go. There it is. It's a Philips PM5716 pulse generator. So let's zoom a bit. Alright, so that's what it looks like on the front there. It's not a bad little unit. Well, not that little, was it? But it half works. And that's the issue I've currently got, is that, well, I haven't even opened it up yet, as I say. I've got no idea what's inside it, I haven't looked. We'll find out together. So, basically the clock circuitry seems to be working, which I can tell from it's got a clock output on the front there, right at the bottom, middle, and that is doing something and seems to be working mostly. Not 100% sure it's completely working, but it is kind of working. But the actual output for the pulses, which is on the right hand side, is not pulsing at all. I can adjust the levels because it's got like a flat line DC output. Hometown Philips, oh great. You can't pop down the road and ask him for some circuit diagrams, can you? Good, I can really use one. Anyway, yeah, so because I've actually tried to find circuit diagrams for this, there isn't one. Not that I could find. If someone knows where I can find one, great. There's a 5715 which is similar, but has some slightly different outputs on the front and stuff like that, so it's got a slightly different architecture, I think. But it might be similar enough to actually use as a diagnostic process for this thing. So the pulse output here works, doesn't work. The sync output does work. Aux, I don't remember. I think it kind of worked in some circumstances. And these are like split rail, so you can adjust the pulse voltages using this. And you can see they're tied together. So you can only do like a maximum of like 10 volts into 50 ohms. Difference between the two positive and negative sides. But you can do like negative voltages and positive voltages, or anywhere between, right? So, but shifting these around is shifting the DC offset up and down. So there is something happening there, but it's almost like the signal from the pulse isn't getting through the circuitry here, the shaping circuitry, to get it to the amplifier. Something like that is what it seems like. Now I've actually recorded some video on this already as part of the mailbag video, which this will be featured in. So that's there. You won't see that yet. I think that's tomorrow. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow's video when I do tomorrow's mailbag video. When you see that, you'll see that shows that bit of testing in that process there. But I'll be doing a video on the actual repair of this thing too, hopefully. So I need to remember to turn my camera on and that sort of stuff, because that's always helpful. I'm going to record a video on it, which I'll just do it now, as I probably will forget, because I'm not recording the stream. So yeah, sort of the timing section up here seems to be doing something. Delay doesn't seem to be doing anything. Duration is working. So repetition time and duration are working. None of this is working. Not that I can see anyway. But so I've got an output on the clock here, and it's just telling me something. The shot, like single shot, manual trigger stuff, and the pulses here, that seems to be working. Yeah, so it's not completely bad. Right. So yeah, I'll have a go at this. Now what I've got as far as information is not great. Like I said, it's not much at all. Just want to find it. Now I've got like a data sheet for this unit, and that's about it. What I do have is the manual for the 5715, which I'll chuck up in the top window in a second and show you. Alright, so here's the manual, which, if I make it a bit bigger, you can probably see, is similar. There you go. So there are some similarities between them. But they are different. So it's not necessarily the same circuitry inside. It might be the same board, just wired up differently. I doubt it. It's probably, and I'm hoping that there's some similarities enough that the just try to skim through. So descriptions, and there's a block diagram there. Let's make that bigger. Even I can't read that. And now it's going to be a bit weird about displaying stuff. Right, there you go. Don't think it's big enough for you to read it, is it? So, yeah, it's a matter of trying to figure out where it's playing out. What I tend to start with is just having a poke around and seeing what we can find. Read relays. Oh, yeah. Read relays. So we'll see. I'll also have a look around, see if I can see anything which appears to be bad. Just obviously, you know, just doing a bit of poking around, just visually, and maybe checking some things. It may just be a power supply problem. You know, as always, you check power supplies first. But yeah, that's something is wrong. And this pulse out is not working. Trying to identify which parts auxiliary amplifier aux out. I think I may have had something there. I'll have to hook it up again to have another look. But on this one, obviously, it's got the clock out, which doesn't feature in this particular model. Is that what they're calling sync out, I wonder? I wonder if they call it sync out on here. Because what I'm seeing is like the basic pulses, which would be what this is doing. So I'm getting something here. So it could be after this point, it could be after this point, depending on if I had something here or not. I can't remember. I'll have to hook it up to the scope and have a look. Yeah, clipping. Yeah, it's the microphone itself. See, if I stick it on minus 10 dB, it's going to stop being omnidirectional. Right, so that'll stop the clipping, but it's going to be a lot quieter. So it probably won't matter too much. But now it won't be omnidirectional anymore, which is what I was trying to do for the bench. But that's okay. I'll just have to remember to turn it around as I go over there. Hopefully it's not too quiet now. Yeah, so that's like going to be the basis of my troubleshooting, is that little block diagram there, I think. Yeah, popping, yeah. So hopefully it's stopped doing it now. I mean, I'm nowhere near clipping on the actual OBS software anyway. So let's see if I can find circuit diagrams in here. We'll see if it gives any more interesting information. So different languages in the manual as well, so there's lots of extra stuff in there that I don't need to worry about. Circuit description, which could be handy if it compares. ramp generator. Now that's part of it which isn't working, or at least it doesn't appear to be working. So this could be something I need to look at more closely. Does that mention power supply? It did. So let's have a look. So it's got a plus and minus 22.5 volt rail and a plus 6 volt rail. All this stuff here is DC also stuff over there. So yeah, this stuff's got 3 rails. Okay. Let's keep looking. I mean, I believe the output side of it, the actual amplifier is working because I'm getting that DC offset shift up and down. It's not just in one direction. If it was only going downwards or only going upwards, then I'd say that one of the amplifier push-pull sections has failed, you know. But I don't think that's the case. Does he pass by again? I did. Yeah, right. So this is obviously a bit I want to look at here, as long as it compares. So there's a trimmer for the plus 22.5 volt rail on this particular model, and checks on the other two. So it must be derived from that one rail, which then generates the other 2 rails. But then the fact that I'm getting plus and minus on the output means all these rails are probably working. So it may not be something as simple as a power supply. This ramp stuff. Transformer. So it's got its own bridge rectifiers for each output. So it's being generated from one. Okay. What else we got in here? Parts list, don't worry about it just now. There's a diagram at the bottom here somewhere. Here we go. Board layouts. Again, I don't know how applicable this is going to be to the model we're looking at. Get closer on this one. So trigger circuitry. Single shot. I mean, I know parts working on this one. Repeat time. That seems to be working. Looks like there's probably. What is that? OC101 seems to be used for a few spots on the board in this case. Oh, there's a quad op amp or something. I can say a quad op amp. Oh, Ian, how's it going? Is that big enough for you? It's probably a bit small enough for you, really. Delays, yeah, that stuff didn't seem to be working. So it could be potentially a single chip which has failed. Right, if it's passing through this chip to get to that section there, and it's not making it. Sync out, which is where I think, in my case, it's called clock out. I believe it is anyway. That's there, then it's probably okay at this point. It might be this point here which has failed. We'll see. Continuation of diagram here. Duration. In my case, duration was doing something. But delay didn't appear to be. Yeah, so it's just going to have to be a case of poking around, I think, and seeing what we find. Aux out. So that is right towards the output stages before it goes to the shaping, it would seem. So if aux out has got something, then I know it should be working up to this point. Okay, so the only thing is the architecture is what I'm trying to look at here. So, yeah. If I just narrow down which part of the circuitry is working. What's this bit here? This is another version. What's this one? Was it the same diagram twice? That's interesting. It looks very similar to the other one. Maybe there's two versions of it. That looks like the same diagram. That's weird. Here we go. This is the bit which I think might be the problem. Right. So we've got the timing circuitry input here. So if we can actually find this point on the board as well, we can also test to make sure that the amplifier section has been told what to do. So this is all the shaping stuff here. Amplitude verniers, here we go, the actual amplifiers, right there. So, yeah, it's interesting because I do have an offset. In fact, I'm getting a DC offset continuously when I'm changing the outputs, means there might be a DC offset going into the amplifier, which is kind of a sign of a bad op amp. Potentially. Anyway, like I said, this isn't actually for this unit, but it's hopefully similar enough to use as a basis to help diagnose it. So we'll go back up to this point up here. I should have got the same diagram in there twice, it's weird. 12.3. $12.1. Oh, it's weird. It's like two diagrams which look very similar. Weird. Well, let's pull this thing apart. Let's have a look. If I can get OBS to switch over. Come on, OBS, switch over. I checked for updates again this morning. There's no updates for OBS. There's been an update for over a month. And my camera's turned off, which is inconvenient because I was just about to use it. Hi, Minty. It's a Philips PM5716 50 MHz pulse generator. Well, we're going to be trying to fix it at least. Right. So we go fixing this thing. Let's get it apart and see how lucky we get. First challenge is getting it apart. Let's figure that out. This is a good question. How do we get it apart? I think I've got to get those two screws and I think it will lift upwards. These screws have been quite badly worn as well. It's been opened up quite a few times by the looks of it. I probably don't have to take it right out. I'm going to just leave it in because it's in slots. Okay, let's try that. No? Does that cover over the top of it? I think it is. I might take this rear panel off too, somehow. How does this go apart? Pretty sure that is inside there. Yeah, it is inside there. Okay. So I think we'll try and get these bits of frame off somehow. If I could see how, that'd be great. I don't see how they come off. That's interesting. Oh, there's some flat head screws there and there. We'll try taking those off and see what it does. Which are already slightly loose, which is always interesting. These are plastic. They're all chromium, but they're plastic. Let's screw up. Ah, there we go. That's part of the casing. Right. There we go. Screw in. And it has a little diagram on there saying about the voltage settings. I'll just double check that in case there's something funny with it. You never know. So it's supposed to be all terminals open. And no orange wire. Is that right? Yeah, wire colours have to be changed around as well. See that in there? You can see it, I don't know. You guys probably won't be able to see that at all. Right. What are we dealing with here? I think this block here is what it's referring to. Or that block there. Which one? Just want to verify this before I do anything else. Brown. No. We've got a green going there. Maybe it's not there. What's the story with this? This is interesting. There's no block at the bottom there. I think there's a block on the other side at the bottom. I think it's that right block, I think it's the other one. Let's get that one out as well. Rector joint. got a sticker in there that tells you to put the sticker on for the relevant voltage. That's pretty cool. Alright. So what are we looking for here? We're looking for 230 volts should be brown. We've got blue there. Brown's in number 3. Brown and blue are back to front. Interesting. Brown, red, orange, green, then should be blue, then yellow. So the actual wiring on here is correct. Let's try and show you guys what I'm looking at. OBS will switch over eventually. Hi Josh, how's it going? Comment. Okay, you can see a little bit better there, can you? A little bit. So it's stated in the cover here that it should be brown going here and blue going there from this cable here, and they're back to front. Does that matter? Where does it go to? So that's how the flex comes up here, side of the unit, round the front, and up to the power switch. I'm suspicious. It's all heat shrunk too, which is, I suppose, kind of nice. Someone else has done that. I think that's not factory. Well, if it's just AC switching, it probably won't matter. But if it's from a certain winding, it might matter. So what I think we've got here is the AC comes in, got a fuse. Interesting, fuse holes inside the unit, so over here. Try and zoom a bit more. Alright, so the fuse holder right there, and there's the end of it in there. So it comes in, goes to there, goes up here as a pair, goes back out again. So it's AC coming in, phase and neutral, which are swapped on this connector. Might matter, it might, but probably doesn't. I wonder if I should swap those around, just because of the fact it seems a bit wrong. Anyway, at least the wiring matches up for the voltage selection. So let's just have a little look around, see if we can see anything obvious before we go any further with anything. So there's a few electrolytics in there. It's not too bad. These all seem to be socketed transistors and stuff. So maybe reseating things would be good. It's also possible. I'm not seeing anything which looks like damage. Got some board interconnects here as well, so maybe reseating the boards would help as well. Sometimes that can help. Just plug things in again. Alright. And power supply rail stuff. Obviously, you've got these adjustments here, which are marked conveniently. So you've got 40 volt, minus 12, plus 6, plus 12. Okay, so that's at least checkable. So it's different from the other unit straight away with different voltages. We're to test those, so I'm not sure. Hopefully it's marked somewhere. Can't see anything obvious. That's the AC inputs on the transformer. Is onto that block there. So those are more ACs from the transformer. So you also got bridge rectifiers, smoothing caps, regulators and stuff up top here, all through there. So got some wires coming off here. So these are probably the supply rails coming off. So if I look at the main board where they go to, here we go. Yeah, they are marked. So it's plus 6 volts, minus 12, plus 12, 0 volts, and a couple which aren't marked from what I can see. I was plus 40 over here, it's 40 volt mark there, let's say. These partially, I'm not sure one of them are. So yeah, we can probably check those, make sure they're okay. See a close look for any kinds of damage. Doesn't appear to be anything. But it's nice that all these parts are socketed, you know, so we've got these ICs up here as well. They're all on sockets. Which means substitution is easy. Just unplug one, plug another one in. It's always nice. There's a 14 pin IC here. Got no idea what that is. Looks like a Philips part number. So that could be tricky if that's what's wrong. Alright. Another plug-in board section there, which is plugged in slightly. That's where the transistor's going. Look for any bad joints. Might be something as simple as that, you never know. Interesting switches like a PCB. Never seen this done like this before. PCB system on there. It's weird. Anyway, so as I solder straight into the board. So it could even be some of that where you've got one of the switches has been stressed a bit maybe, and maybe it's affected it. Lots of speculation. So this is this plug-in ribbon here. Which is what goes to these various knobs on the front panel here. It's plugged into this ribbon. It's pretty cool. So can we see that? May help, who knows? Let's check for this, moving around. Yep, they shifted very slightly. Alright, well we'll power it up and we'll check voltages around here. Well, on the circuit board, we'll do it on there. See what we get out of there. I'll set this up so you can see. Work. Can't open it. I'll check the chat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll turn the mic around that way. That'd probably help. Now it's directional. It's problem. I've got it set at minus 10 dB to stop it popping, but now it's directional. Okay. Back to this. Oh, somehow I cut myself. How the hell did I manage that? That's weird. It's only a little bit. It's fine. Just in there. Weird. Don't know how I managed that. Right. Power this up. And let's see what we get. Yeah, one of these is marked to 0 volts, so we'll start with that one. How convenient, my probe in there. So it should be 6 volts here. Yep, that's bang on, that's pretty good. Minus 12. Yeah. Plus 12, yep. What's that one there? Is that minus 25? Yep. And what's that one? 13. 13. That seems interesting. Okay. I was expecting to find a 40 volt around here somewhere. I forgot to record that. Right, let's do it again. Okay, so we'll go up to this and show these voltages. I checked them just now, but I've got to record, which is a bit done. So we've got 6 volts here, that's fine. Got minus 12 volts here, which is fine. We have 12 volts there, which is fine. Over here we have minus 25 volts, nearly minus 26. And 13 volts, which is the one I just think is a bit weird, because why would we have 13? I'll flip this over. Now, the 25 volt itself is a bit weird because it's not actually one of the rails, but we've got a 40 volt rail. So I'm kind of wondering what the situation is there with that. So we'll trace these rails to where they go. 40 volt adjustment here. Just trying to trace the tracks around. Go around to the other side over there. Yeah, I can't tell. So I think that 13 volt and the 25 volt ones aren't right. A bad pass regulator. I think I might need to try and figure out which parts it is that's causing that, or which ones are generating that voltage, because it's got some big caps in the back here. So you're not getting 40 volts. Op amp. So this type of op amp I've seen go many times. I'm always suspicious about those. That style. And it's a plug-in thing too, so I can probably unplug it. But it may not even be that. So I'm not going to assume it's that yet. Let's try and trace out this this rail goes. So that 13 volt rail, which is a yellow wire, comes up to that tab up there, which goes where? Now I've lost where the tab is. Right there, so it goes down to that thick trace, just goes straight to that device there. That could be a feedback though. It's a big power resistor. Can I see that properly? Let's just lift it up slightly, eh? What's it go to? Is it electrolytic capacitor? So it all seems to go to that device there from that yellow rail, which that 13 volt I was getting. So the brown wire, which is 25 volts, goes a tab there, which goes where? It's got a resistor goes upwards, small resistor, and it comes down, wiggles around, goes down to there, it goes to the wire, which goes over there, it goes to a capacitor, I think. Well, could it be bare caps or could it be this? Let's try popping it out and see if I can have a look at it. I can pop it out. Yep. Let's move it. So what we got? LM723. That is an op amp. And do you know what? I'm pretty sure I've got some of these. I'm pretty sure these are what was in the Fluke 5200A, which I was fixing before. The number's definitely very familiar. So I could just try replacing that and see if anything changes. So we're up to checking the chat. Hello, cool uncle and Kiori. Right. Well, let's see if we can find that part. Now, where the hell did I put them? I'm pretty sure I've got some. I'm just going to double check it, see what that part actually is. I'm pretty sure it is an op amp. An M723. Voltage regulator. Okay, I'm wrong, but okay. But it definitely sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure I've got one. Let me find my spares box. Let's see what we got in here. LM723. Here we go. So I had some brand new LM723s. I only have 3 left, so hopefully it's not shorted out somewhere or something. Actually, I should probably check the rails, see if there's a short on the rails. Let me do that first before I plug a new one in, just in case it's a problem. Let's put up the data sheet for it and then find out the pinout. V negative, V positive is pin 8. V out is pin 6. Now I'll shift the data sheet up here so you guys can see it. There we go, there's the data sheet for it. Let's give that. Come on, bigger. So there you go. This is what we're looking at, it's this one here. And say pin out, pin 6 is voltage out. There's a block diagram for it. Any examples? Yeah, well. So yeah, it's got a single output there. So we'll look at that. We'll replace that part. So I just need to look at pin 6 and make sure there's no shorts on it. Whichever pin 6 is, I bloody never, but these particular is round ones, I always forget which bloody pin's which on them. I think the dot or the little wing that's on it doesn't actually designate one. I think it designates like the last pin or something. I'm not sure. Anyway. So let's check for a short on the output of that socket there for this voltage regulator. So LM723 is a voltage regulator, not an op amp, but I've used them before in the Fluke 5200A when I've repaired that. If you haven't seen that video, go back and check it out. It's 19 parts. It's quite a long one. Let's measure resistance, okay. So we've got ground, we'll chuck that on there. 0 rail. We'll probe around. Now I think 6 is that one, I think. 22 meg. That could be the other side, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, it looks to look for decent levels, looks okay. Megohms as well. So there's nothing obvious there. Yeah, we'll look alright. So there's nothing on the output which looks like it's shorted. So that's good. So I've got one of those brand new ones. We'll drop that in. Maybe I'll have to straighten the legs out a little bit. I'm not going to trim it, I'm just going to shove it in, see if it works or not, because it may not even be this is the problem. Might be something else. The problem with this particular type of package is the legs. Always a bit of a pain. Try and get them roughly right, then I'll try and plug it in. Get the tab in the right place. Okay, well, that's lined up and that's in, and all the legs are in their own holes. Pretty sure they are. Yep. Let's try it again. And I forgot to change views on the other one, didn't I? That was dumb, wasn't it? Sorry guys. Probably like that a bit more. Right. Plug that in 0 volts. Plug the power cable in. Now, we're going to get smoke or we're going to get a voltage? What do you reckon? Any bets? Shove that on the brown one, which I think is the one that's supposed to be 40 volts. You can just about see that, can't you? Okay. Let's try it. Power on. 26 volts. Okay, didn't change anything. So it's probably not that, that's wrong. Let's check this other one. 13 volts still. So nothing changed. So that's interesting. So as chances are that part isn't the problem. Let's just check the other rails as well, just to be sure, in case something else has gone wrong. Still 12. Still minus 12. Still 6. Okay. So that part probably isn't the problem. Barely warm. So that's fine. Okay. Well, there goes that option. Let's put the original one back in again. Seems nothing changed. It's not going to be there. Right, so I'm still puzzled by why it says 40 volts. I'm not getting it. But at least I now know that it's not that part. Substitution is always great. That's why I like socketed stuff, because it makes it easy to work on. Right, let's trace this out. Well, that's disappointing. I thought it was going to be easy. It's not. Is the audio better now? Now I've actually turned the microphone towards the desk. If it's still too quiet, I can increase the level now. Now I'm away from it. Let me know. So let's think about this. Ground. Because you got what's marked as 40 volts there, right down there here. So I think that is supposed to be 40 volt rail, but it's this yellow wire here which I can't see a marking for because I think it's only his cap. Don't know if I can move it enough to actually see anything else. But this says BU02. I mean, what is that? I think that'd be BU01 because it's underneath that screw there. So I'm pretty sure the 40 volt does refer to this brown wire, not the yellow wire. But then I can't see any markings for the yellow wire. So, yeah. It doesn't appear to be marking for that yellow wire. So that's a bit puzzling. Let's just trace that brown wire back in. So let's follow that brown wire back and try and figure out where that goes. Again, that does just go to that regulator there. But if that regulator is being fed from something else, definitely 40 volts. So I think I need to trace this adjustment back to tell me which regulator is supposed to be doing 40 volts and then trace it forwards from there. I think that's why I'm going to have to do that. So you see the traces there, there's 3 traces, go around, go straight along. 2 of them carry on around here. 1 goes to a resistor which drops down. The 2 that carry on, 1 goes straight to that regulator there, which I think is pin 2. Let me go and check. Let's see. Pin 2. Pretty sure it's pin 2. Yeah, that's right. So the tag marks the highest pin. So this is what's confusing about these old package types, is that the little tag on there, it doesn't mark pin 1. It marks whatever the maximum is. It might be pin 10. It might be pin 8. Pin 12, whatever. So it doesn't actually mark pin 1, which is what gets confusing about them. So yeah. So pin 2 is where that one of those wires is going back to, one of those traces is going back to, which is the inverting input. Okay, keep that in mind. Just keep looking. The other track goes to a resistor, which goes across to that trace there. So the resistor goes across here. Let's try and zoom a bit on the camera. Oh. So one trace in that adjustment comes down to pin 2 of the op amp. Well, that's op amp regulator down there. Just wire it away. So just there. The other one goes through, comes down, jumps across to a resistor over here, which comes down to pin 1 of that device, and a couple other things as well. Also goes upwards to another part over here somewhere. Try and see that. Where does that go? That's that yellow tag. So your yellow wire is going to pin 1. Yeah. Yep, yellow wire is going to pin 1. And that's current sense. Okay, so that's a feedback. Okay. So yellow wire's feedback. In fact, it's only 13 volts. Does that mean it's a high current draw, which is what causing it to shut down partially? I wonder if that's the case. Possible. There's one more trace I haven't traced out yet, which goes down to a resistor, down to there, which goes where? Lost it. There to there. which appears to come back to this orange wire over here. Oh, knocking things over. I think it goes up to there in the end. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that that regulator there is indeed the 40-volt regulator, but it's shutting down. That's what I think's happening. I should just leave everything laying down the desk and that way it will stop falling over. Okay. Certainly kill a circuit diagram right now. Alright, let's look at this other one I've got, which may or may not be of help. I'll get OBS switch over. Let's try and find the power supply section on this thing again. Did I have a separate diagram for that? See if there's any similarities whatsoever. Power supply ball, here we go. Nah, this is different. There's no feedback or anything on this one. Yeah, this doesn't have any feedback at all. It's purely outputs with op-amp regulators, op-amp based control for the regulators. So it's doing local loop sensing for voltage drop and smoothing, well, regulation. So yeah, it's not comparable at all, unfortunately. Okay. It's going to be tricky. So it looks like I'm stuck on this 40-volt rail thing. Should I just try a turning adjustment and see what happens? Or should I look at the rail on the board and disconnect it and see if it comes up? Let's have a look at that. And I'll switch the camera back over so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm going to have to trace this power supply circuitry on this board here to try and figure out what's going on, because the yellow wire appears to be a feedback from a current dropping circuitry, so it's sensing the current through the circuitry. So it's probably compensating a little bit. If it's overdrawing the current, it will drop the output down or something as protection, possibly. So I need to sort of diagnose this bit of circuitry around here and figure out what's going on. So what do we find on the back? Now, interesting, the circuit tree on the back is a little bit different. It's saying 40 volts. Let's try and get it in light so you can see it. For you guys on live stream, you'll be able to see this a lot better when I do the actual video for the repair. So obviously I'm zooming in the other camera and stuff like that. So you've got a smart 40 volts here. It sees little arrows going between each track. And then you've got a plus and minus here. So is it supposed to be 40 volts differential across those two tracks? Am I trying to chase something which isn't there? So let's have a look at that. I'm pretty sure they're both positive voltage though, wouldn't they? Let's check anyway. F power. Be careful what I rest my hands on. No, just do the right way around, should I? Positive, negative. I'm getting 39 volts. Okay. So I'm tracing something which isn't there. Zoom out again so you can see it on the other camera. There you go. So it's actually not right anyway, it does need adjusting. So yeah, okay, there isn't a problem after all. What I do need to do is adjust it. So let's do that now. Come on, just slightly more. There we go. Perfect. Right. And dropping that inside the case is not good either. Right. Okay, so there isn't a problem after all. It's just the power supply rails are a bit weird. Okay. That's a shame. That would have been a nice thing to trace down. Okay, so we think the power supplies are probably alright. Although I should check ripple, shouldn't I? See how that looks. Do that too. Just check it all from this side. It's just easier now. Got it flipped over. So that's negative rail. I'm getting there, not much. 0, good. 6-volt rail, no, nothing. It's looking alright. Yeah, we've got another rail over here somewhere. Down there. Also looking alright according to the multimeter at least. It's not as good as a scope, but it still tells you something there. And across that 40-volt rail, looking alright too. So, okay, ripple's looking alright. Nothing obvious at least. Okay, well, we got nowhere then. The 723 probably has a offset. It's probably got a. So I can only do, like, as you said, it's. I think it was 37 volts. I think I saw on the data sheet. Let's change this over. I suppose I've lost a part of my. There it is. What did I see? Input voltage max is 40 volts, so yeah, output voltage max is 37. So what they probably got is a offset. So the actual negative rail for that regulator might come from the other power supply rails. In order to offset that, might be done for like a 6-volt rail or something like that, or maybe a 12-volt rail. So the whole thing is shifted up by 12 volts or 6 volts or whatever. So that way they can run the high voltage without overstressing the part. So done so they like build one regulator on top of the other one and offset, give a DC offset to the regulator. So its reference voltage is not 0 volt, it's like 12 volts. It could also be regulating, say, at lower voltage and then it's being offset at the transistor. But then it seems to be direct output from this thing. Seems to be, yeah. So there's different ways of doing it, isn't there? Well, I haven't got any further yet. That's disturbing. So it's not something simple like a power supply by the looks of it. It's not a main power supply. So what I'll do is plug it into my scope and just recheck that auxiliary output and just see whether that's actually working or not. Because I don't remember if it was working or not. And that might give me an idea which part of the circuitry to look at more closely next. Is there a bad op amp somewhere? It could be all it is. So we'll try that next. I'll get a cable set up and do that. The other day I was moving this thing around and the camera fell off. The little threaded insert on the back fell out. That wasn't very helpful. It's not the best for you guys, I'm afraid, but. Okay. Turn the power off for now and get the cable, get my scope turned on. That video I did hacking my scope there, that was very popular. Surprisingly so. I was expecting, for it to be quite interesting to some people, but it's been very popular, especially for the time frame it's been up. It's had over like 3,000 views, which is pretty good for me. What have we got set up on here? Single times, yep, okay. No bandwidth limiting. Can you see that? Yes, you kind of can. So we'll chuck it on to the... I'll show you the clock output first, prove it's actually clocking. Trigger. There we go. Okay, so you can see it's clocking there. Hope you can see that. And if I adjust things, it does actually change the clock rate. Alright, so that part of the circuitry is working. And if I do steps, I can adjust it in each step range. They are a little bit dirty. I can see some like flickering, some jittering on there when I'm touching that switch. So I do know that it does have some issues with being a little bit dirty, but that's not a problem. I'm not worried about a little bit of dirt on the switches right now. That's the least of the problems I've got. So that's the clock output, right? And if I change any of these other knobs, nothing really happens, right? Because it's purely the clocking which is affected there. Okay. So that's that. Those two there are working on the clock output. So that's something. Those aren't do anything. So if I go to the auxiliary output, get it back off. It's a bit tight. I'm getting something, but it's not right, I don't think. So as I turn the knobs, things do change, but there's no shaping because that's all after that point, I think. That's not doing anything. Changing the switch is doing something, so the auxiliary output is kind of working. There's something happening, but there's some like ramp pulses in there. So that duration is changing that pulse there. Delay is not doing anything at all. But it does seem to stop it jittering so much. So maybe it is doing something. So the delay switch is working. There we go. I'm getting some activity there. So the aux out is working. Part of this is that I don't actually know what the hell I'm doing with this bloody thing, right? Which isn't helping. So yeah, that is delaying the pulses. So that is working too. I didn't get that before. Or I probably didn't have the right settings on it. Double pulse. Does that change anything here? Triple pulse. Single. I'm getting double pulses with that one, which is what it's got off my panel. Shows double pulses. Let's just do this. Hold on. Get this out here. Yeah, you bet you can't see what I'm doing. Better chance, not a great chance. We got it higher. Yep. So I hope you can actually see those pulses on there. So your delay is doing something, but it's very jittery. So that is kind of working, and it's doing 2 pulses right there, and that's doing 3 pulses. So that is interesting. We'll do manual triggering. I'll have to do single capture. Let's do a single pulse. Let's do double pulses of different lengths. If I do that, you get 3 pulses. So something interesting going on there. The pulse duration is kind of working. Both pulses are changing, but I'm not sure why it's doing 2 pulses. That should only be a single pulse, and that should be 2 pulses. So this section here, that's doing nothing. This is doing nothing. These are doing nothing, right? That's all, obviously the output section, which is for the pulse output. So these are kind of working, but now I've got 1 pulse. So when the duration gets too short, yeah, okay, now I can see what's going on there. Hopefully you can see it too. So when I've got a duration set long enough, there is only 1 pulse. Now when I get down a bit short, right next to it right now I'm getting a 1 pulse. And as I bring it down further, I've got a second pulse turns up there at the same point. So it seems like there's probably a bad capacitor there, smoothing that out or something. Once I get to a certain point, I've got the correct pulse, and I've got a single pulse. There is some jitter. Could be dirty control. Yeah, probably dirty control. Could be. Right there, it's okay. So let's turn it down again. Yeah, turn the double pulses again. Single pulse, let's do double pulse now. Now I'm getting 2 pulses. But the pulse lengths aren't equal. They're both slightly different. Second pulse is slightly shorter. Might just be coincidence. Interesting. Anyway, okay, we'll play with that. So we know that this part is working, that part is not. Aux out is working. Pulse out I know wasn't before. Let's have another look now. I've been playing around with it. Pulse out has got nothing on it. So right now we've got a DC offset. So I bring it up, the DC offset also shifts with it. So I can go positive and I can go negative. So let's just do measurements. So I'm getting negative 22.4 volts. If I go all the way up, I get positive 16 volts. 16.4. So it's going more negative than positive. That could be a clue. So there's a negative DC offset of about 6 volts. Interesting. Okay. Back to the chat. Chat's pretty quiet. God, nothing's changed since I was last here. You guys should be talking amongst yourselves or something. Right, so yeah, as you saw, the pulse output is not doing anything, but the aux output is doing something. So let's go back to the other diagram of the other unit, which is similar but different, and try and give us some ideas of the architecture to look at. Try and find a better to look at. Where are we? past it. Now, here we go. So based on the architecture of this unit, aux out is here, which is on basically towards the output of this circuitry. You've got normally inverted, which isn't doing anything. Well, it says nominal complementary, so I'm guessing that means inverted. So it does look like it's purely this output stage. Now you've got this other IC here in this case, which is a little bit different. I doubt the IC numbers are comparable either. I think the circuitry's going to be different. So it does purely seem to be the upper stage. So maybe I need to try and track that part down. Maybe look where those knobs and controls go and backtrack those to the part of the circuitry they seem to go to, and that'll give me an idea of where to look. I doubt all these numbers are the same. So BU1 and BU200 series. So BU100 series is the control circuitry and BU200 is the output circuitry. So let's see if I can find BU200. That might be what I need to find. This is called about. Okay, so straight away I found it. And my camera just turned off because that's convenient. Let's change camera views again. Because I keep forgetting to do that. I really need to make like an automatic switcher. Make an Arduino thing with a movement sensor. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's what I need, isn't it? A motion sensor over here on an Arduino, which acts as a keyboard, which will switch the display over, which is a similar thing to what Paul Daniels did with his microscope. Except he did it in code, because I'll just do a keyboard command. So, look at this side of it. Is that zoomed in or is that wide? It's wide. Let's go zoom in. Hold on. So it looks like the fault is on the output board, which appears to be this board over here. Now, according to the diagram of the 5715, the 100 series board, which is this one here, is like the control circuitry, and the 200 board is the output board. Now this looks like it's got the same number scheme. So this is BU240, that connector, which means that's the 200 board. So I believe that's the board I need to be looking at, which is nice and convenient because it's on the side, it's easy to get to. So I've already verified, I didn't record that bit at the time, but I've already verified that the clock output works, the auxiliary output works, although it's glitchy. All these controls seem to need a clean. I was getting some weird timing stuff going on there too, so maybe I need to replace some capacitors around the place too. I might just recap it if I get it working. But the pulse output doesn't have anything at all coming out, apart from a DC offset, which is, it goes down to minus, if I add both slides together, it's going to minus 22.4 and positive 16.4. So there is a DC offset to the negative side. So there could be an input problem to the amplifier. Something's pulling it down. So that's where I'm sort of leaning towards now. So the output board there on the right hand side is what I need to look at next. Which is behind this rail too, but so some adjustments on there for a start, which look like they are adjusted, not all just like stuck to one end, because I've seen that before. So these controls for the output actually go onto these two pots here, two linear pots. So that was a bit of a clue straight away to do where the board was anyway, but I didn't actually look that far. So there are some capacitors and stuff on that board, plug-in transistors, everything's all plug-in, which is great. I like plug-in stuff. Now those output transistors, which are mounted on this heatsink edge here, they go straight onto the board, they're like plugged in. So you can probably just see it in there if I zoom in on this camera. Just see there's one just there, and there's a few more inside the unit down there, which all just plug into that board. And interestingly, there's some parts mounted on the circuit side of the board as well. So instead of just being on that side, it's also on the other side of the board where the heatsink is. Like you can see, you've got those resistors standing up there, for example, but there's some more parts down inside there, which are basically some resistors, a bunch of resistors, couple of caps, not much in there really. There's unlikely to be anything in there, which is a problem. So something on that board is a problem, I believe. So it could be a bad transistor on this board here. It could be when these chips are bad. This chip here is marked 0012. Zoom in on the camera. I'll get it. So I'll get the camera to focus on the right spot. So yeah, 0012 is what it's marked as. So it's probably just a HP part number, which isn't helpful because it means I don't know what that chip is. I mean, that circuit diagram, I can't easily just take a guess based on the pinout. I have to diagnose it and backtrace it and stuff like that, and reverse engineer it. So look on this side of the board. So we also have this plug-in module here, which is obviously a bunch of adjustments. You've got these connectors which are plugged in too, which is interesting. Little coax connectors. They go to the front panel. So the output one here comes down, goes around the back of the board and connects to the back of the board about halfway up in there. Maybe I'll get on the camera if I'm lucky. You can kind of see in there. So that's not much help back tracing, but at least I know it's in that area. So the fault was somewhere on that board, so I might have to just look at maybe substituting some parts if I can. That's an MC1741 CP, that part there. So that's an op amp. I'll try and see what these are. These are probably the same parts. Let's unplug this cable back away. Bloody torch, keep dropping it. That's what we've got in here. MC1741CP, MC1741CP, MC417B. Yeah, they're all the same parts, apart from the top one, which is a MC741CM. So maybe that's been replaced at some point. So those are all just basic op amps. I could just try popping them out. Focus, you bastard. Come on. Bloody camera. Back to chat. Getting? What do you mean getting, Chris? Right, so we've got some op amps to change. I could just try blindly replacing op amps, see if anything comes right. Sounds like a way to go. Let's find some. I'm sure I've got some. somewhere. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got some. Okay, Dave, thanks for dropping by. Catch you later. UA741CP. Here we go. Different brand, but that shouldn't matter. I should only need one. I should just pop it in and out. Let's try different places, see if anything changes. Excellent, we'll give that a go. Okay, so I've got some UA741CP op amps here. So I'm just going to use one of them. I'm just going to pop one out, swap it out, see if anything changes, and let's do that for each one until either it fixes itself or nothing changes. If nothing changes, I know it's none of those, and I'll have to look a bit deeper. But my experience has been op amps are one of the first things I look at. If there's op amps in there and something's not working, I'm always suspicious about op amps. Just like, that's where I always think the problem is, especially when you've got a DC offset, which is what I've got right now, is a DC offset. Now, I could actually do probing on the op amps and actually check the inputs and outputs and see if they look like they're working. I could also do that, but sometimes it's quicker just to substitute it with something else. So that's what I'm going to do. See some tweezers, I'm popping them out. So I was going to pop this one out first. Come on, get in there. Oh, I see a pin strainer. Still haven't found that. Right, here we go. So I've got it hooked up to the scope. And I should plug the power cable back in if I want it to work. See if anything happens. No, no different. So it's not that one. Put the original back in. Yeah. If I find my pin straightener. It'll turn up one day. So next one up here. There's a bit of lighting on this. Anyway. It's a bit tricky to get to. Especially when I'm trying to record at the same time. Because now I can't see what I'm doing. Hold on, I'll just see before the camera does. Yeah. That's not going to work. Let's turn it on this side. This is a bit silly. It's too hard. This will be a bit easier. maybe I'll get straight tweezers. There's that one. Turn it on again. Still DC offset, no different. Yep. It's not changed. Okay, keep going. At the very least, what I'm doing is reseating the ICs, which is always a good thing too, because it helps them to clean the contacts up, because they can get a little bit corroded sometimes and a bit oxidised. Can just help them a little bit. Got to find that pin straightener. Yeah, that's the second one, isn't it? Yeah, and the third one now. Again. No, it's the same too. No different there. So at the very least we know what it isn't being. Always a little, I think, oh, that's not working, it's not, you're not getting any further ahead. Well, actually you are getting further ahead because you know what it isn't, which has failed. By replacing these one by one with a substitute part, it's not that one, it's not that one. At least you pretty good chance it's not those ones. It's not likely to be multiple devices. Sometimes it can be sometimes, but usually it's just the one. Yeah, that's not different either. Now what I'm worried about is that it's going to be the 14 pin device at the back there. That's what I'm concerned about it potentially being, because that is a mystery device. It could be a quad op amp. It's entirely possible it is a quad op amp, but we'll see. Now that changed something. That's different. I'm not sure it's different in a good way. Nice, get warm. Okay. I think we found something. Well, this device in here, which is one which has been replaced previously, is a different one. Okay. And that's getting warm. And the offset changed. that changed something. So we were onto something. So that was getting warm, and it wasn't. It didn't have the same positive offset as the previous one did, as the original part. And yes, I did put it in the right around. I did double check. So something seems to be loading down the op amp. That means it's probably an output transistor from an op amp. Whatever that's feeding is likely to be the problem. It's look at the pin out for this op amp, because I don't remember what it is offhand, and see if I can see anything obvious there. So wait for OBS to catch up again. So yeah, that's interesting. One op amp that's already been replaced once. I put another one in. It changed. So there's a key there, isn't there? That op amp's probably been replaced because something around it has blown. But again, we've got this problem of not knowing which one it is. I don't know if this is a comparable enough circuit diagram. So this one's using a whole bunch of individual amplifiers and transistors and stuff like that, rather than op amps. So this one doesn't look quite as advanced. So I don't think this is comparable at all, because it doesn't look anything like this. Yeah, so I can't use that diagram at all. It's nothing like it. Obviously it's a updated version of it. Hi Eddie, how's it going? Not that early, I'm actually a bit late. I just started an hour later than normal today. And it's 11 o'clock in the morning now. I usually start about 3 hours ago. I actually started 2 hours ago. Alright, so I'm going to have to do some looking at that. Let's find the data sheet for that part. 741 CP. I'll probably have it. No. UA 741. There we go. I do. So pin 6 is the output. 2 and 3 are the inverting and non-inverting inputs. So let's look at pin 6 and see if there's a low resistance on that pin. I can probably get in there. I might leave the chip in place actually. Right. Can't get tangled up here. See. I might be able to get into the probe. VCC is pin 7. And VSS is pin 4. Okay. So I've measured from pin 4. I haven't changed views around yet, have I? Better do that. Okay, Chris, get your low, mate. Let's drop them by. Right, so let's check for resistance from pin 6 of this op amp, or the op amp position, to see if there's a issue there. I think I'll probably get the probes in. I don't know, 3.8k is not that bad. If I compare the one next to it, with the chip in place obviously, that's 13k, should the one next to that, 33 meg, $1.5k, and that wasn't really worried about anything, was it? Didn't seem to be. 1.5k there as well. So resistance wise it looks okay. But it definitely changed. Interesting. So can I see what that's driving? And I forgot to record that. That was dumb, wasn't it? So I just checked the resistance on the output of pin 6 to ground, well VSS reference on that op amp, and it seemed fine. I should do underground actually. I'm assuming chassis is ground. It probably is. At the front, but yeah, that's alright. Yeah. Because it's a split rail supply as well. Right. So let's try and chase this out and figure out where it's going. And of course I can't see a damn thing. It's not from the top. Traces are all on the bottom of the board somewhere, or under the device. I can't quite see which. Okay, I can see where it goes. Right, it goes up there. Let's take this off for now. Now we've actually got something to diagnose. So the op amp we're looking at is located right here, and we're looking at that pin there, pin 6, which comes up here, goes around over to there. So what's that going to? Goes to a resistor. Which is in parallel with another resistor, so that's always your voltage divider. Point to that. You'll see there, so that's the resistor there comes up to. And it jumps over to here, which is another resistor, which goes back down to there, which comes up here, and also goes up there too. So there's two traces we have to try and follow. Try and follow them, but this beam's right in the way, of course. At least to see it. It goes up there somewhere. Right. Hard to see on camera, I can probably see it myself though. Right, so it goes to the pot. So it's actually going to the pot control. So it's a feedback circuitry on that side. And the other side comes over here, which goes to an adjuster. And it goes to a trimmer over here. So, interesting. That shouldn't be loading it down. So why would that op amp be getting hot? was going to trace back for nice. Not really seeing much. Okay. So this is, I just had a coffee delivered, which is nice. Could use one actually. Hot. So yeah, what seems to be going to the VRs. Well, the potentiometers. Let's see if that compares at all to this circuitry here. There's the switches. There's pulse output. So the back feed from that. Amplifier stages. VRs, amplitude verniers. So this is what the effective part is on these sliders. In this section in here, obviously that's a linking thing to show the link together. There's a transistor, of course. As you can see, I'm looking at. So yeah, those are the VRs there for the output. Just trying to kind of compare this to the op-amp circuitry we got here. Hi Brian, how's it going? Try that again. Brian, how's it going? The problem with this not being directly compatible with this unit. Well, if there's another unit I could look at which has got a similar circuitry, let's do a search, see if I can find a another Philips pulse generator which might have the same circuitry in it. What other models are there? PM5716. Right, let's have a look at that one. Might slow down my internet a little bit. I'm trying to download it. If it downloads. I'm not really sure it's going. It's 5770, 5771. There's a 5324, which sounds too different. I want to try and keep it within the same family, which is a 57. This is not bloody. It's online viewer. I hate these online viewers. This is a big crap. Okay, let's go to KO4BB. That's always a good site for things like that. Okay, there we go. Service manual. Let's open this one up instead of messing around this other thing. That's better. Create download link. Just try and find another manual which is more like this unit. If I can find something which is similar, it might be a bit easier to diagnose it. But I found something that op-amp changing, so didn't change for the better, it changed for the worse, which was the interesting part. Fortunately, my internet's a bit slow. So let's check the chat while I'm waiting. Enjoying fixing and the Southern Comfort. Well, you're fixing attempt. It's not fixed yet. There's no promise I can even get it going. It's very simple circuitry. That's the case of just component level checking. Right, this is a very sizable manual. This looks pretty good. Try to find circuit diagram section, tone board. This is showing op amps are being used on a tone board at least. So let's just save this manual because otherwise I might bloody lose it or something. I'll open up properly in the top window. Seems that pinwheel is useless, we'll get rid of that. Let's try this one. Let's go to the end of the manual and go upwards. Usually the diagram's right at the end. I was going to prove it wrong this time. Somewhat different construction, multiple boards, but all I'm really worried about is the diagram of this output board to see if it's similar. Is that it? Transition time board? No. It's got amplitude control in there though. It's going to glitch in my display, of course. Right. Show it sideways. Amplitude adjustments. Similar, well, more similar than the other one, but only in some ways. Don't know. don't think that's close enough either. This seems too different. Does he have a board? So close look at this. Here's some op amps in here. 741 op amps. Okay, that's certainly similar. BD136, BD135. Now there is a BD135 on there, I've seen that. So this DC offset section, which is curious. Fit from the same source, which comes from up here. Which is that 3R offset. We don't have offset with amplitude, which is controlled like this one. Pin 6. So this is different again, it's not the same. So yeah, trying to find something which is going to be comparable, not easy. It's all different. Yeah. I think I lost my window. There we go. Right. Well, it's not looking good, is it? Not so far. I mean, it's fixable, I reckon. I just got to trace it. Trying to trace it's the hard bit. No diagram makes it a lot harder. So what I should probably do is put an op amp in there and just do some probing around and see what voltage I'm getting on the pins, and just do voltage checks, because that can tell you a lot about what's going on, because all the pins should be the same voltage. Right. Let's have a look at that. Change camera view again. I left my torch on, that's a bit done. Right. So let's put one of those back in again. There's one. Where's the other one? Oh, I've lost one. Why did I put it back in? No, I didn't. That's my one. There it is. Okay. So I'll put the original one back in again. And there's the voltage checks. Let's see what's going on there. I'm going to put this op amp back in again and check voltages on it and just see if I can diagnose what's going on with voltages. So So that might tell me what's going on, whether it's a loading or whether it's something else. I'll get the thing back in there. This is the original one I'm putting back in. It did seem to perform differently with the original one. So this back up, retest as it is. See if anything's changed. Got DC offset again there, that's 14 volts, that's back how it was before then. Yeah, so that's exactly how it was. So interesting using different op amps has given a different result. Check for any heat. Sometimes that can be a bit of a clue what's going on. So nothing obvious. Let's flip this around again. And we'll check voltages out. See if we can find anything. Now I've got to be careful about high voltage stuff in this area. I'm going to try and get into the probing there as well. Right, pin out. Try to get my orientation correct. That's pin 6, so that's pin 7 there. Right, 2, 4, 4. Yep. There you go, try and get it shot properly. So power is on. Let's measure across the supplies first. I've got back to front, but it doesn't matter. 35 volts across that chip. Seriously? 35? $35 volts across the chip seems a little bit high. Let's just check the other ones out. Randomly check another one out. 35 as well. What's the max rating on these things? And of course I'll close the dial sheet, haven't I? Maximum voltage is what? Plus or minus 20 volts. Does that mean it's 44? Would do, eh? Okay. I think it's probably okay then. Right. Get up there though. Yeah, so there's some similarities there between the 5786 and the 5716, it would seem. Not a lot of similarity, but a little bit. It's certainly closer than the other unit. Right, let's keep checking voltages. So 35 volts is a bit higher than I'm used to seeing on these things, but it seems to be okay as far as spec goes. Can I find a ground point in here and just see if I can use that as a reference? Let's have a look. Can I? Can't I? 20 volts there. Nice 4 volts there. Interesting. Negative 10. I'm going to shove this probe somewhere so I can get it to stay. Is it going to work? Maybe. So I slide those output around, they change it slightly. That's on the upper pin of that. If we look at the inputs, that's interesting. And that one there. This is obviously a reference to the chassis, which is not quite exactly right, but 0.7 there, 0.7 there, so those two are equal. The output is 11. If we look at a different one, it's minus 9, minus 9, minus 9, right? So I'll actually expect to see the output of that op amp being the same as the input, but it isn't. Interesting. Well, the inputs are the same at least, but the inputs match. I suppose it is amplifying, isn't it? But I need to look at the reference. Yeah, op amps are a pain. Page 36, you reckon? That's the page I'm on, yeah, page 36. Which would be these things here. And these things here. The voltage dividers here. For feedback. How's it going, Sion? You out and about there? Yeah, trying to fix something. Just trying. Unfortunately, I can't find an exact circuit diagram for this particular model, so it's a case of trying to match it up with other stuff. So it's DC offset. I mean, it is affecting DC offset. Could it be one of these? Plus 15 minus 17 volt rail in this particular unit, which is different to what I've got. Plus and minus 12 volt, what I've got in this rail. It's just change screens. I'll show you. This thing here, say Philips PM5716, 50 megahertz pulse generator, and it's partially working. There's no output, but the clock frequencies and stuff are all there. So it's clocking and it's trying to generate output. At least the control circuitry is, but the actual output is not there. And if they're controlling these transistors, if those transistors are gone, that could be causing problems, couldn't it? This diagram's not actually for this unit. It's for a different unit. which is similar but different. Yeah, it's a massive box too. It's actually twice as big as I thought it was going to be. So it's like it's one op amp which is looking a bit weird because I replaced it with another one. Replace an op amp. It's all just plug in, thankfully, and it changed its behaviour. I'm not sure if we changed it for the better or for the worse though. It's the weird thing. Should get some more of these op amps. Actually, I don't think I've got many of them. Let's have a look now. I don't have many of those op amps at all. So yeah, so something's definitely going on around that circuitry for that op amp. The inputs match each other, which is what is usually a good indication that something's wrong. And this is on the original part, but I put a substitute in and it didn't work, so that was weird. So I'm looking at these transistors now. Although this isn't exactly for this unit, it's similar. Once I uncheck those output transistors. No problem, see, I'll catch you on that. Broken joints, possibly, but I think it's more likely something loading it down or just solving open circuit. So because I'm getting a DC offset, and almost no, I mean I can get a little bit of ripple on it sometimes under certain settings, but generally it's just a flat line DC coming out of it with positive or negative offsets. The fact I can get positive and negative means both phase transistors are, if it's like this setup, are probably okay because it can go up and down. If it only went one direction, you can say, okay, the other side's negative, knackered. If it only went downwards, you can say the positive side's knackered and you replace that one. I do actually have these parts. Pretty sure I've got BD136 and BD135. I'm pretty sure I've got some. I sort of lean towards op amps, so I'm always leaning towards op amps because they tend to fail. What's going on there? Why putting a substitute in which should be better cause a problem? We've got some LM307 here. I think these are like equivalents. Let me have a look. I think these are like a high quality equivalent or something like that. Lower noise version. Pinout is the same. So I could put in a 307, I've got a bunch of those. Let's see if that changes anything too. Let's try that. Let's change views. It's just odd, that behaviour. It just didn't seem right that it went worse, not better, by replacing a substitute. So I'm going to try substituting this part again with a different one, because I'm just suspicious about something not being right here. I mean, the input voltages seem to check out, but just got a suspicion something's not right. So this is an LM307, which is a pin-compatible device. I believe it's actually a lower noise version of basically a 741. So it should be usable. So I'll pop this in there and see if that changes anything. Okay, pop that in. Power power cord is on. Let's hook up the scope to it. See, that's performing the same as the original part. Okay. What if the other one had failed? That makes you wonder now. If I put that substitute in, it didn't work. Has it failed because I put it into one of these other positions which has got a problem? That's working exactly the same with that part than it is the original. That makes you wonder. I know the next one over, I think it was, I checked the voltages on that, it seemed okay. Let me just do some probing on this. Let's do voltage measurements and see if we can find anything that looks a bit weird. Maybe one of the other op amps are being shorted out, and as I've substituted it, it's blown up the one I'm substituting with. It's possible. Which round is rails go? I've forgotten. Negative was 4, so let's tie it onto that one. Go on, get on there. Alright. Yep, okay. 2.7 volts there, fully positive. 10 volts outside, 10 volts outside. That's fully positive. So if I bring us down halfway-ish, 18 volts, 18 volts, 18 volts. We'll go all the way down. 20, 20, 22. So yes, it is acting as an amplifier, definitely, because it's shifting it up and down. So that one there seems to be working. So let's try the next one over, which is here. Putting 312 output. I don't know if this is going to change anything or not. It may not. Not really. But those are looking kind of normal, I suppose. Check the next one over. 12, 12, 12. Let's put it down. Also looking normal. There's nothing that stands out as being bad. 5.2, 5.2, 0.9, 9 volts it was. .6, that one's changed with the level. That also seems okay. Six, 6, 6. It's like as a buffer. Change slightly, so that seems right too. That's interesting. I can actually smell like something's warm. These resistors are getting warm. It's over here, it's all getting warm. But that's interesting. If you look just in here, there's a resistor right there, right up against that bolt. Could it be maybe that's potentially broken through the insulation and shorting it out? What do you reckon? Pretty sure it's not meant to be like that. Let's shove it over sideways. There we go, it's not touching it now. Hasn't changed anything, so it's not there. But okay. There's definitely warmth in this area from these resistors here. But since it doesn't really have much of an eye of an output, I'm surprised that there's really any work going on there. There's another device here. What's that? BFW16A. Don't know what it is offhand. It's probably a transistor. I think it's only got 3 legs, so yeah. Well, I think what I need to look at is it's got diodes in there. It does. So in here, between the circuit board and these two studs here, those are diodes. It's like stud diodes. I don't know, there's a certain name for them, I don't know what it is, but different diodes anyway. I might just do some tests on these transistors just to check them, just roughly the diode check. See if that finds anything. No particular reason, just why not? Power is off. Never know, I might stumble across something which isn't right. 0.3, 0.5, the circuitry around them might be affecting them as well. Now seems okay, this is not shorted. 0.5, 0.5, it looks about right. Open, and hopefully open too. I'll get onto it. 0.5 that way as well. I'm not getting a short though, so there's probably just circuitry around it. think it's okay. Check the next one. I think that's right as well. Get 0.5 in both directions in that one. It's a BD135. I had the same in the other one though, so it's probably the circuitry that's around it. Oh, that's interesting. That's a short. BD132. What's a BD132? Do I have that on my list? No, I have to look that one up. Let's find out. BD132. It's not dead short, but it's close to it. It's pretty low. Let's look for BD132. BD. You sent me a BJT. Where's the best one? This one. Pinout is what? So emitter base. Yeah, emitter base short it looks like. Okay. This screens around. Once OBS catches up, I'll be able to show you. See if I've got one of these. I might have one. No. Looks like I don't have one. Number's familiar. Okay. Let's look at these specs and see if I've got a substitute I can chuck in here just in case it's just there. Right. $45 volt. The PNPs as well. I've got BD, sorry what numbers I'm careful. BD. We've got BD139, B3, BD140. BD139 is the NPN, so I want the 140, which would be complementary. That's the PNP. Let's see if they compare. The specs are similar, I might swap it on. Emitter is pin 1. I think that's what I said, wasn't it? Yeah. Pin outs are the same. How are the specs? BD140 can do 40 volts. Emitter base voltage 4 volts. Emitter base voltage 5 volts. Yep, so this is actually looking better. Collector current 3 amps or 6 amps. Collector current 1.5 to 3 amps. So I think it doesn't actually have the same current rating. But it'll do as a temporary substitute to see if it makes it work. So we'll try it. BD140 is. Let's see. And I'll take that part out. I might even find that part when I take it out is actually okay. It might be that it's a fault on the board rather than the part itself. It's possible. A little screwdriver to get that open. Power is off, isn't it? Yep. Right. Nice thing about them being plugged in. I can just plug another one in. Should be called this, shouldn't I? So I'm going to try substituting this part here with a BD140. It doesn't have the same current ratings. The voltage ratings on this part exceed the original, but it doesn't have the same current capacity. It's about half as much. But it might be okay for doing testing. So I'm just going to replace it. I do like the way it's all plugged in. It's brilliant. So let's just retest this now I've got it out of the circuit. That's looking normal. That's okay, this part's not a problem. So whatever's controlling this device seems like it might have a problem. This isn't the problem. Mirror across there, should be able to verify that. 0.086, it's the same. If I reverse the leads, let's make sure they're both reversed, just in case the polarity matters. No, it doesn't matter. So whoever's controlling this device looks like it's got a problem. Okay, well that means I'd have to replace it at least. It's got a capacitor here. Runs down to there, goes across, down to there, around there, down to this mess. Resistors. And down there. I think it might be going to a transistor. Let's make some space here. I'll put this part back in again for now. I think it's okay. I'm pretty sure that's not the problem because it tested okay out of circuit. And I've lost the little insulating washer. It's fallen off. Where's that gone? Here it is. Nearly put that back on. That's not a problem. Whatever's controlling it is now. The emitter was pin 3, wasn't it? So the gate is what I need to trace back, which is that one I was looking at before. So let's trace that gate back. Yeah, it's a bit hard to catch it on camera. But so it looks like there's a screw missing there. There's a stud there, a threaded stud, nothing in it. There's a screw missing. What if that matters? It might matter. Is this a sign that someone else has had this apart already? That one's loose. Someone's already had this apart. Okay. So the gate was the pin I was tracing, which goes to there, goes to there, goes to there. Now what's that one? Or was I looking at the wrong one? No, I was following the wrong thing. Okay, right, we'll go to there. It's not so far. There's a transistor right there. And the rest of it, I think, is resistors. Yes, it is. So this transistor right here is likely the problem. Let's pull that out. Retest. Still short, so it's not the transistor. Now that's interesting. Check the transistor anyway. Try to. Just get my let's get this out instead. Use this. I'm using trying to probe it. Short circuit on red and green. Ooh. This part might be the problem. And that is a BC558. Let me just make sure I haven't got something touching on the probes. Definitely sure it's okay. Retest. No, it's come out right this time. So I must have been the probes touching. So PMP, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, looks right. So that transistor's okay. Right, that's a shame. That would have been nice, easy. I'm sure I've got some of those. So, why is that measuring very low? That's a reversible socket, and I had to pull that out there, looking which way around it went. Uh-oh. Okay, like that. I think it went like that. Okay. So if there's still a short there, how is that possible? Is it rubbing on this resistor? Or is there a trace on this side of the board which I can't see? The there are some traces coming on this side of the board. I think they go to the middle pin, middle and bottom pin. What's his resistor value here? 0.85. So the short is on the other side of that resistor. Let's keep going. So there's one resistance here. It is the very top one, I think. Is it? No. It's the bottom resistor of this group of 3 here. So comes across here. So that's got a low resistance across here. So if I measure from there to the emitter of this, I should get this short. I do. So whatever's on the other end of that resistor is dead short. Progress. Where does that go? Good question, I can't see. Right. It goes to the op amp. Pin 6. I didn't check the voltage on that one. And that's also the very first op amp I took out and tried. Still a low resistance, even without the op amp in there. Now that's interesting. And there's another trace down here. Comes from pin. Is that pin 6? No, that's pin 2. That's alright, it's not that one. Is it? No, it's the same pin. It's not pin 6 it's going to. Unless we've got the thing upside down. It's got a corner cut off there for marking pin 1. So that is pin 6 there. Pin 7. Which is the way I had it orientated. That was correct. Because I shouldn't assume also that if someone else hasn't been playing with this, because it looks like someone has been playing with this, they haven't put a chip in back in upside down. So that is marking as pin 1 there, so that will be pin 6. And that's pin 7. Which is curious. I think I'm missing something here. Pin 6 has a resistor coming over. I think that's part of the voltage divider set up there. Or is that an amplifier set up? Okay. Something here is definitely not right. Don't know what yet. Come chit chat. Well, chat's really quiet. I was supposed to come back and have, like a bunch of conversation to catch up with. And my coffee's going cold. That's not good. And OBS isn't switching over yet. It's always helpful. So I think it's got like a resistor divider network on the output of the op amp, which also drives a transistor, which is kind of in parallel to amplify it to drive the pass transistors on the heatsink. So I'm going to have to look more closely at that, and there is something tied off pin 7, which I've... What's pin 7 on these things? I've forgotten now. I suppose I've closed that one, haven't I? Pin 7 is positive, VCC positive. Interesting. Maybe we should do a voltage measurement on there. Because if the gate's going to positive, and it's a PNP device, then the emitter must be more than that, shouldn't it? Doesn't make sense. Don't go to the device and have another look. See if I can measure voltages are in there. I don't know if there's any Zenas in there, but we'll just do some voltage checks first. Pair it up again. I think I might leave that op amp out actually. No, I'll voltage check with the op amp in there. So that is the original part. This one I haven't done voltage measurements on yet, so it's probably a good one to check actually. I did all the other ones down there, I didn't check that one for voltage. Right. So let's check voltages on this op amp here. This is one I haven't checked yet. Put on voltage range, would be a bit more sensible. Turn the power on. So pin 4 is the negative side, which is that one here. Pin 7 is that one there. 13 volts. Output 8 volts. That's always annoying. I'll do it later. Right. So I need to check the inputs to see what these are doing. I'm getting my head in there. 12.5. 12.5, so the inputs match, which they should do. If you get a mismatch on the inputs, the op amp's definitely bad. But yes, 13 volts across here, that's a little bit different. 11 volts there, 12 volts there. So gate emitter, if it's only like 0.7 volts different or something, it might be alright. Maybe I'm tracing something which is the problem. 0.6 volts. That seems okay then. Damn it. Another thing which turned out to be not a problem. Okay, well, I'm running out of ideas. Short pulling out every transistor and checking them. The ICs seem to be okay. The only thing I haven't checked is that big 14 pin one down there. And there's diodes down there too. Can I get onto those to measure those? Maybe if I'm careful. Not easy to get into. Is that it? I'm not convinced I've got that right. Reverse polarity. Try again. Right. No, I can't see anything there. I can't tell. That should be short. Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting. I'm pretty sure the diode's in there. Fairly sure they are. Just can't get onto the bloody things. You're not showing a short. Maybe. Let's size that one. These aren't something I'm overly familiar with, you see, these particular devices. So is that one. Not sure. It's a shame I can't get in there very easily. I mean, I'm fairly sure the diodes. Just not 100% sure. BLX6Y, I think it is. BLX67. BLX67, let's look that up, shall we? What's a BLX67? Right. BLX67. Oh shit. trying to find a data sheet link which doesn't look like one of these spammy ones. Really? Surely not. Very interesting. Okay. VOX67 are power transistors. VHF power transistors apparently. Let's see if I can find a better data sheet. This one is viewable but it's not great. See if I find something better. So the fact I'm getting a short on there is probably because I'm not probing it right, because it's not a diode, it's a transistor. And I'm not really getting in there across it correctly. Okay, so I've got a bit of a spammy one, but it seems to be working. I'll show you this. So this is the device here. Industrial and military transmitters. Supply voltage of 30.8 volts. Now we're measuring 13.6 we were measuring in there, weren't we? Seems coincidental. So this is interesting. Why are there RF transistors in here? That's weird. I suppose it goes 50 megahertz, doesn't it? So I suppose they're using them for the output stage. There's three though. Maybe one's a driver and the other's amplifiers. Maybe that's how it's done. Still interesting. Seems like a bit overkill, really. I guess they were cheap. Mind you, I think they might be made by Philips, so maybe they were cheap because they can make them themselves. So this does look right. It's the right part. It's got that little flat on the end there, like this. It's got that flat. It's got the threaded section. It's got that for the circuit board. So yeah, that is the part I'm seeing. Interesting part. Never seen those before. I've seen diodes that look very similar, but not these. Now these have got those traditional like legs coming off them. Does it have legs? I haven't seen them. Let's have a look. So these parts I'm looking at, which I'm thinking are diodes, are actually not. They're RF transistors. I'm trying to see if I can see if there's got legs on them. So I couldn't see legs before. There's not. It's not on that side of the board. So it might be sandwiched in between the heatsink. Oh yeah, yeah. There's legs there. Yeah, they're RF transistors. Well, that explains why I wasn't measuring the right things, because I was actually not measuring that part at all. I was measuring the circuit board. Okay. Don't flash. So bloody RF transistors. Wow. That's a new one on me. interesting. Okay, well, I haven't got much further, have I? I mean, should I be assuming that there's an issue with the amplifier stages and that everything else is working? I've had some rabbit holes gone down, but nothing's actually proven to be an actual problem so far. No, it's ended up checking out. Kind of need to test those IF transistor sections now. I need to test those, see if they've failed, but I can't get to them without stripping it completely. That's not going to be fun. I suppose I would just check all the other transistors first, or check all the basic, easy to work on components first. But yeah, it's half past 12 now. I'm going for too long. I think I might call it a day and just carry on videoing bits and pieces if I find them. And if I'm lucky, I might get it finished. But yeah, I don't know if I can even get those parts. If it is those, let's have a little look, see if I can buy those things. Some on eBay. Octo part. $9 each. $9 each, but I can get them. New old stock. And yes, they are Philips branded. It looks like the correct part. So if I have to, I can buy new ones. Odd. Okay. Yep. I think I'm going to call it a day for the stream then. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to call it a day for the stream. Okay. But it'd been nice to actually get this sorted out on stream. But hey, it's been an interesting experiment. You know, just poking around with that circuit diagram and see how far we get. I expect I can fix it. I just need to get in there and test each part and maybe recap it. And I'll do the recapping if I can get any kind of life out of it. It's not an output stage. I mean, the fact that most of it's working means it's probably okay, but it's used high quality caps. I mean, it's got Philips caps in there. It's a Philips instrument, so now those caps are usually pretty good. And if they have failed, they would have gone open, not short, most likely. I suppose I could probe around the caps, couldn't I? See if there's anything there on that board, on the output board. Because I mean, up to that point, it seems to be working. I don't know. Still got a few options left yet. Anyway, okay, I'm going to call it a day for the stream, at least. And I'll go have a break and have some lunch. And come back to it and poke around and record some more video. So you'll see this in a video anyway, even if I don't fix, if I can't get it fixed, which is unlikely, then at least there'll be a video, some kind of one of me fixing it, one of me failing to fix it, be something. So we'd have all the close-ups on other camera and stuff, so you get to see a lot better what I was doing. So thanks everyone for dropping by and having a look at the stream and see what I was doing and hang around. And make sure you comment down below. I want to hear what you have to say, what your opinions are, sort of stuff for people which are watching the video later on. If anyone's got any ideas as well, I want to hear that. Not just people on the stream right now, but people which watch a video later on when it's on YouTube as a published video. So make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Click the bell icon to get notifications about my new videos. Share the video if you think people might be interested in it. And all that good stuff. Okay, so later on.